Welcome back, another episode. On CSI, Vegas Season 3 Episode 3, criminologist Josh Folsom's ultimate destiny was determined. Josh continues to work for the Las Vegas crime lab, which is not surprising. That is not surprising. Among the new cast members, Lauria from Friday Night Lights is perhaps the most well-known. Eliminating a character like that in a season that has been cut short by a strike would be absurd, unless the actor in question has chosen to leave the show. Folsom would undoubtedly emerge from the review board, it was clear. What form he would appear in was the question to be answered. Josh has been his worst enemy during the entire Jeanette tale. The careful CSI that his colleagues appreciated was no longer there. A timid young child from the impoverished neighborhood took his place, defending his mother, who was unwilling to assist herself. Josh was aware of the policy, no taking on matters involving relatives. He could have chosen to leave or to involve his fiancée, Serena, the investigator, who could look into Jeanette's case. Instead, he opted for option C, completely against the law, sneak around behind everyone's back. Did that not work out well for everyone concerned? It would have been Serena's turn to save Folsom from his own actions. That's particularly true since that CSI, Vegas Season 3 Episode 2 made it clear that she was an eye plant in the crime lab. Rather, he supported his foster brother Trey, whom he had just assisted in the arrest of. What a strong base upon which to construct an unofficial inquiry. Trey, on the other hand, did prevent Josh from hurting Schefter, preventing him from doing something even more foolish than they had previously done. Their continual attempt to pass off their guilt simply served to highlight it. However, in the end, they were found not guilty of Schefter's murder in CSI, Vegas Season 3 Episode 1. Despite the professionalism of her evidence, Maxine's story also made clear how deeply affected she was by Folsom's behind-the-scenes actions in his quest for information and retribution. What made him feel the need to justify himself to his work mom thereafter, especially since he was unable to provide a convincing defense. It's a good thing Ali Rajan talked some sense into Josh, her friend, mentor, crush, and possibly future love interest, during her time away from the week's extremely unimportant case. Ali demonstrated to him that only he could give the review board the necessary context for his actions. Yes, that makes sense. But Folsom has been dreadfully deficient in that quantity lately. Josh's attempt to defend his behavior was a weak one. Instead, he ought to have relied on a brief insanity plea. To determine such, none of the board members would have been qualified. Thus, the review board was left with little option but to recommend Folsom's termination in light of the evidence they had received. Subsequently, Max completely changed course and vehemently defended Josh's employment. Josh was appropriately blasted down to CS Level 1 by Max for the role he'd assigned her. Does that make him rank higher or lower than Bo, Chris, and Penny? It's worth mentioning that the case of the week raised awareness to celebrity impersonators, a common sight in Las Vegas. Bo proceeded with his smooth shift from criminologist to industry chemist. Additionally, his understanding of the Rat Pack was crucial in cracking the case of the assassinated Frank Sinatra and Joey Bishop impersonators. The fact that Catherine is his companion and unofficial tutor can only be beneficial to his growth. She's had a foot in the real world, unlike some of the lab nerds. The episode once more demonstrated how the morgue is constantly changing. This season's first episode featured the endearing Milton Hudson, who hasn't been seen since. For more, subscribe.